another episode of the Living the Canadian Dream podcast, episode 29. We just recorded it. My buddy Sean Pollock came on and we talked about some awesome shit. Okay? Awesome stuff. He is a professional photographer, not one of those people that take photos with a flip phone and they say, "Oh, I'm a photographer." No, he's legit. Okay? He is absolutely legit. I learned so much stuff on this podcast. I learned about photography because I have a very limited knowledge about photography, okay? And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot just from sitting down with him for an hour, okay? We talk about photography. We talk about, personal branding. We talk about content creation. We talk about social media. We talk about rock climbing, okay? We talk about a lot of awesome stuff. So, enjoy today's episode. Sean is a great guy. He is a photographer from the Greater Toronto area. So if you ever need dope shots, check him out. You can follow him on Instagram at Sean Pollock, SeanPollock. And then that's his name on all of the other social platforms. And also check out his website, seanpollock.ca. Okay? He's very legit, okay? He does his actual, his personal photography for clients, but he also works for a startup called Snapwire, okay? Very cool conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. It was just a lot of fun, and I got to learn a lot, to be honest. It was like taking a course, okay? It was like going to Sheridan College, taking a photography course, but it's only 1 hour, okay? It's a summary about everything. That's what happened. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you enjoy it, make sure you let Sean know that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys have any questions for any of the next episodes. All right. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to answer anything. But other than that, let's just hop right into this episode and let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it.
Living the Canadian Dream.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bradley Thompson here, and this is episode 29 of the Living the Canadian Dream podcast. We're back. Next episode. I'm here with my boy, Sean. We've been friends for a while now. We used to work together back in the day at a restaurant, and now we're back. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Sean.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me today, Riley. I guess we've been knowing each other since, 2014?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
At Lone Star.
Yeah.
Out in Oakville, but we also went to Sheridan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, perfect. Yeah, so I'm a photographer. That's mainly what I do. I'm a project manager at a startup called Snapwire.
For sure.
So we do kind of custom photography for location-based clients and kind of smaller product clients.
Sweet.
I try to shoot as much as I can, like cycling,
awesome,
rock climbing, and just media in general. So
yeah, sweet. Like for anybody that doesn't know, when did we become friends? We became friends when we started working together at a restaurant. Yeah. You were front of the house and I was back of the house. I was a cook. Different dynamics on both sides for sure.
I think I probably saw more of both those aspects.
Yeah,
because I was always coming to the back.
That's true.
A lot more. But we were also like front facing as well, so you probably didn't get the shtick that we got from the front. But
it's funny.
It was a lot of fun. So
it's wild because a lot of people servers will complain, and then they're like very specific problems, and then back of the house will complain, and it's just like a totally different set of problems. It's hilarious.
It can be the same problem though.
Yeah.
And both parties are going to have their own perspective of it. And
it's true.
Both going to argue their own case.
It's true.
Happens, but with that said, I mean there wasn't too many problems at the restaurant. So
it was a fun time. There was a lot of awesome people there too.
There was. I met a lot of really good people.
A
lot of good people have gone on to do very productive, meaningful things. It was a great kind of start to any career. So.
And it's funny, your buddy that did the apparel company thing and Relatable Co. It's funny, I've talked to a bunch of people that are my friends, and they've actually bought apparel from them, and they didn't even know. Because they went to the schools and stuff.
I just find everyone
the U of Tears shirt and stuff.
Everyone that went to UT, a lot of them worked at that restaurant as well. And we're all just kind of intertwined from the last few years. So
It's
the
jokes.
world's suddenly becoming smaller and smaller every day. So,
Yeah. It's sick though. It's a very cool thing when people come together from different backgrounds and stuff. Because I know like there's a lot of like, like people training to be doctors and stuff at Lone Star too. And it's just like, everybody's just grinding it out, just trying to make some money, pay off student debt.
I worked there when I was in school at Sheridan.
Yeah.
It was a perfect job to have when you were in school because the hours made sense. You made pretty good money. And I got to work with all my friends, so it was worth it. Right?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was definitely a good time. Okay. So you're a photographer. Very cool field. Okay. Tell me how you got into that. Why did you get into photography? It's a very specific field.
So I've been shooting now for just over 10 years.
Okay.
I guess I started in photography back in high school. I was studying for exams, needed a break.
Yep.
I ended up taking my parents' camera, riding my bike around.
Sweet.
Going and kind of just shooting things just around the neighborhood. Realized with Photoshop I could make them look better than they actually did. Awesome. And it kind of made me feel good from creating those images. Yeah. And then ever since then, I've kind of picked up multiple cameras, shot different kinds of photography. So like product stuff, nature,
like portrait shots and all that stuff.
Used a lot of band photography. Now it's a lot of like editorial work, lifestyle work, and weddings.
That's sweet.
That's kind of my primary.
That's really cool. Yeah,
business,
that's a very cool thing. So what type of camera did you start with? Was it a SLR or a DSLR?
So the very first camera I ever took pictures on was like a
disposable
small Sony compact.
Okay, cool.
So it was like the
standard,
standard one. Had like a standard zoom on it, big screen on the back. Like, you could do almost anything with it, except for like extreme like manual settings.
Okay.
But it was fine for like day-to-day stuff. And then I got a Olympus DSLR.
Okay.
So I had one lens for that, and that was able to teach me, aperture and shutter speed.
Very cool.
And then eventually, once I realized how important like getting better glasses, I moved to Canon.
Yeah.
I've been with Canon since, and they've got the best glass in the business, I think.
Really? Why do you say that? What is the difference?
I think if you look at the actual specifics of the Canon camera, they made their mount for their lenses in a way that like it can handle large lenses and small lenses.
Oh, okay.
So you can put really high quality lenses on like entry level bodies.
Yep.
Where I find Nikon, their actual mount system is smaller, so they can't make a larger piece of glass.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of already constrained to that size of mount.
Okay.
Which can lessen the quality.
For sure.
People have multiple opinions on that, but I just find that like the build quality with Canon, the way their glass is made,
just works out.
Suits my style too.
That's sweet.
It's very soft. That's colorful.
How do you feel about Sony cameras?
I think Sony's doing a really good job. I think the mirrorless cameras, a lot of people want a camera that can do a lot of things.
I have one,
Small package, like yours?
Yeah, it's really good. And especially like for somebody that knows the basics of photography, like it does the job. It takes nice shots without me knowing how to actually take nice shots.
You can know the basics. If you want to learn more, those cameras will allow you to learn more. But without the let's say it's more efficient because you don't have this big piece of equipment like a traditional DSLR. It's a lot smaller than a mirrorless camera.
For sure.
Their video for video, Sony's are almost the way to go.
I can see that for sure.
They're ahead of the game.
So, that's awesome. That's dope. How do you feel about all these people nowadays that think they are photographers when they literally just take photos with like their BlackBerry Curve?
So I have a couple opinions on that. I think a lot of what you're alluding to is especially now that like Instagram's a thing that it allows people to show images. It allows anyone to share images. Anyone to almost take good images. Especially with apps on your phone, you can make things look really good. I think it's really good from a creative standpoint. I love that it's pushing people to be creative. To see something and want to capture it, share it.
It's sweet,
I think the downside right now is that there's not too much uniqueness or originality in content. You look at people that do really well on Instagram, and there's 20 other people in Toronto doing the same thing.
Of course,
The people that are doing it really well aren't getting recognized, but those are also the people that are doing these cool jobs. The ones that are shooting for car companies, big brands. But so I think it's starting to create its own like micro fields within the photography. So you have people that are just going to do influencer jobs and people that are just going to do commercial work. I think I think
it's
like,
a weird dynamic.
Saturated.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit oversaturated. Personally, like I feel like I'm competing with more people nowadays that
Of
just
course.
started.
Yeah.
Before I was competing with people that have been doing it for a while. So
Yeah.
it's myself and them, we've been like perfecting our craft.
For sure, yeah.
Now I find like you can pick up a camera, take a few nice shots,
Of
and
course.
get easily recognized for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like if I think luck and chance, algorithm, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it, works out,
Yeah.
you can be successful.
I think so, yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah, it's wild.
So
It's crazy because the reason I wanted to bring that up is because it's similar to like even, digital marketing. Like I'm in digital marketing and it's similar to that because there's so many people that think they know digital marketing because they have a Facebook page or like an Instagram page. And there's so many people that don't actually know digital marketing, but they're like selling services, selling courses. My YouTube ads are all people selling me courses, and they literally don't know digital marketing.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's a very scary thing. It's crazy.
I'm curious what you think about like that the influencer culture, because you have a lot of people that will work with brands, produce content for their channels or for the brands.
Yep.
And they can consider themselves a digital marketer as well.
Yeah.
But at heart, are they a photographer? Are they like a spokesperson for the brand? Are they just an ambassador? So, like, how do you feel about that?
It's very weird. So I have a couple feelings about that. The people that aren't actually making content that's like, entertaining or even like educational or just enjoyable, you know what I mean? People that are just like, posting booty pics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with that because like, it's just, they're just famous off of like being like the model or whatever, which is fine. Like that's fine. But for a brand to work with that and say like, give them all these opportunities, whereas there's somebody that might not have as many followers, it's just a different vibe. And also like I find it very weird that a lot of people just focus on their following. Like they're just like, oh, I want to have more followers. So they'll buy followers and they're fake. And it's just like, okay, they're fake, and then brands will work with them without knowing that they have fake followers. Yeah. And just being in digital marketing, I'm able to like find out, like, because we have tools and stuff when we deal with influencers, this is how many fake followers a person has based on percentage. Yeah. And you can find out, like, it's crazy. The other day I was just going through people like that I know as influencers in Toronto, just going through their following, like just using the tools, like some of them, 30,000 followers, 40% are real followers. Yeah. And it's just like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And it's just...
What sort of engagement are they getting too, right?
Yeah, but engagement is very weird too, because people also buy likes and comments now too. It's a very weird thing. Mm-hmm. But especially when you see percentages like that, it's just like, okay, they're lying. And they're working with brands, and brands are trusting them like, oh, they actually have this reach when they don't. Mm-hmm. So that's my problem with it. And I don't know, it's just a very weird thing. Like, I don't know. Like I've worked on both sides of the picture. Like I've done some stuff with brands, like for like blog posts and stuff. And then I've done stuff like as, a marketer, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very weird thing. I don't know.
It's going to plateau?
I think it will for sure. Yeah. I think it will. In a way that like the fake people, the fake influencers are just going to disappear. Yeah. It's going to have to happen. Like Instagram, the platforms are going to have to do something, because I think a lot of companies are wasting money and losing a lot of money because they're trusting these people. Mm-hmm. When they have no reach, they have nothing. They have no content.
I think from an influencer level, I think there's going to be a point where those people will just get integrated into like a company's marketing campaign.
I think so. Yeah.
It's not going to be like
they'll be like the spokesperson.
They'll be ambassador, let's say. But at the same time, maybe they'll help work from a campaign perspective.
Yeah, maybe,
figuring that out.
Yeah.
And might, instead of right now where I think they're just kind of like the face and just sharing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go in the direction of people actually creating that content.
I think so, yeah.
Across the whole spectrum of scale. So
yeah.
It's going to be people that are small, people that are large, and I think that'll probably be it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. Like it's pretty. I'm curious what Instagram as an app is.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Whether or not people doesn't seem like people have stopped posting.
Yeah. People are still posting, and people are posting aggressively a lot of times because they want to grow their following. Yeah. But I don't know. Like even just the first step of them hiding total likes on each image, because that's a new thing that they announced. I'm for it. Like I think that's a great thing, because people will start liking photos because they like the content. I think that'll help people do that. Again, you're still going to get the fake likes and stuff like that, but it'll stop people, like, I think, from buying likes, because what's the point of buying likes if it's not showing like, oh, you have 1,000 likes? You know what I mean? I think it's going to sort of take stuff back to the basics.
Do you think that will change what people post? Because I feel like, I mean, myself as a photographer,
Yeah.
like, I know what will do well on my platform.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know it won't do well.
Yeah, yeah.
And there definitely are times where I haven't posted something
Yeah.
because I need a post to do well right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say I'm trying to, you know, book some people for studio time.
Yeah, yeah.
Get some more clients. I
Yeah.
have to post relevant content.
For sure.
And I think right now it might be transitioned to more where, hey, I'm just going to post stuff because,
Yeah.
you know, I creatively want to.
Yeah, yeah.
That just fits.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very weird thing, but I think you're going to see more authenticity.
Yeah.
Like, even for like things like, I was reading a couple articles recently about like the feeds, because everybody's sort of focused on the look of their feed. And then the people were saying that, like, you know, we're going to start moving away from the look of the feed and going back to like the basics of just posting content that you like. You know, like people like Joe Rogan, they post like every day, multiple times a day, and their feed is a shit show. Like, it's just like, they just post stuff that's relevant, right? Like, it's just relevant. So I think that's sort of where it's going to head eventually. But obviously, you still need the quality, you still need all that stuff.
Which I'm curious, this is maybe a bit of a segue, but
Yeah.
I'm curious from like, because from my understanding of Instagram, like the more likes something gets,
Yeah.
the more it gets pushed to other people.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
more people will see it.
Yep.
From a fake news perspective, so for people like Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
or, you know, we talked about Fit the Chicklets earlier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of like current event
Yeah.
topics, right? Like, how is that going to differ now? Because do you think that stuff will get pushed up because people might be liking that more? Or
Maybe, yeah.
maybe the relevancy will be
Yeah.
stronger. So I think Instagram will have to kind of understand exactly what sort of content is going to be promoted still.
Yeah, yeah.
And what stuff will be pushed to different viewers.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
I think so. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, even for things like shadow banning. Have you ever heard of that before on Instagram?
Shadow banning is like you can post something, you and like a select few followers can see it, but not everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically like this thing that Instagram does when, like, say you have hashtags, and like some of them are like hashtag follow for follow or something like that's sort of spammy.
Okay.
Before, they always used to deny it, but they recently added to their terms, like, it's not their terms, it was like their FAQ on Instagram, that they do shadow ban. So if you're using hashtags that are like spammy or abusive, then that's considered spammy or abusive, so they won't show your content to other people.
Right.
It might show up to a couple friends or something, but other than that, it just won't show up.
Probably your basic followers.
Yeah.
Usually engaged.
Yeah, yeah, but they won't put it out anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good step too, because it's just like, it just shows like, oh yeah, they're trying to take, they're trying to take the lead on like dealing with the spam and like the
Well, I think
the
a lot of
BS.
people want to try to beat the algorithm, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's the thing,
Do
yeah.
whatever means they can to
Yep.
do that. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. I guess I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
To get this thing rolling even more. What's your creative process like for photography?
So I guess it depends. If I'm being hired by someone to shoot for them,
Yep.
a lot of the creative direction can come from the brand or come from the client.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll just come with me with an idea, and
Yep.
I'll help them formulate it to get photos as a
Okay.
result.
Cool.
I like to show up early. I like to get a lay of the space I'm shooting in.
For sure.
Do some location scouting. That
Yep.
put some ideas in my head. From there, it's all about understanding the light at the time of the shoot.
Yep.
So take some test shots with the talent, without talent, just
Yeah.
random objects around.
For sure.
And then you really kind of have to understand what you're shooting. So if I'm photographing people, you've got to be attentive to them.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're photographing someone who doesn't really be they're not in front of the camera a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be attentive to how they're acting in front of the camera.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can kind of pick out pieces that work.
Okay.
If
And then
they
give them
have to-
direction and
give
stuff,
them
I guess.
direction,
Yeah.
Get them to repeat things that
Yeah.
are working for the camera, things that aren't working. You can kind of coach them on how to improve that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think a lot of the times the photography and creative process is being attentive to like the multiple aspects of a photo shoot, which is like your location, your light, and your talent.
For sure.
And then as soon as you add like there's a creative director on site, like they'll help you kind of push to a better direction.
Of course.
Yeah, that's probably the gist of it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I like to say, like, people always ask me, like, do you have like an advice to get better at taking photos of people?
Yeah.
Just be attentive to people.
Interesting.
Make sure when you're working with them, when you're talking to them, like,
Yeah.
you get to know them a bit too, because
For sure,
it's
yeah.
going to show through the photos. You want to make sure they're comfortable with you.
Of course, yeah.
If it's someone that's like an agency model, like they're represented by an agency.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're
and
professionals.
At that point, they'll still look to you for direction, but you don't have to work as hard, I find.
Yeah.
It's really just location and clothing,
Interesting.
location and setting. So.
Interesting, cool.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite type of like photography? Like, you know, and I know basic photography, so like landscape, portrait. Like, sort of, what's your favorite? Like, what's your specialty?
Well, my specialty, I would say, is portraiture.
Yeah.
So anything to do with people, whether
Okay.
it's like large groups of weddings or
Sweet.
single models in studios. Recently, I've come to like travel photography a lot, so doing landscapes but mixing it with people.
Okay.
Like I was in San Francisco last year.
Yeah.
I was there with a colleague from work, and
Sweet.
we just kind of spent time photographing each other in different landmarks.
That's cool.
I was out in New Brunswick last summer, and like trying to tell a story across when you're traveling.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mixture of landscapes and mixture of like those on-the-go photos, and then a mixture
sure.
of like portraits of people in those locations.
Yeah.
To hopefully put together like a set of images that if you
For sure.
didn't have any words, you could
Yeah.
get the gist of it.
Yeah. Because it's a very cool thing.
Yeah.
I know your photos are really good. Like I like your feed and stuff. And like I was even looking at your website the other day. I'm just like, yeah, you take really sweet photos.
Thanks.
They're sweet. Like and. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool thing. So, what do you do for the startup when you're doing the startup thing? You're just taking photos for clients and stuff like that.
The startup is purely project managing.
Oh, okay.
So the company I work for is called Snapwire.
Yeah.
So we've got multiple different clients, people like RBC, Booking.com.
Very cool.
And we do anything from like small shoots. So in an office with 4 or 5 models that I'll hire a photographer to go do.
Cool.
I'll help produce it. Put together the whole creative brief to make sure the photographer is successful. But then we'll do larger projects. Like we did a big project in London, England.
Yeah.
For Booking.com,
Sweet.
and we hired about 12 photographers.
Very
to
cool.
shoot 500 locations in the city of London.
Very cool.
All with like a location, like a lifestyle style.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
And then we do product stuff as well. So
Yeah.
we ship product to a photographer and say, hey, go photograph this baby food. Or
Yeah.
we did something with Monster and had photographers do a lifestyle shoot with cans of Monster.
Cool.
Energy.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So how do you guys pick photographers? Like, what is the criteria? Because, like, obviously, we were talking about it just now. Like, everybody says they're a photographer. Like, what makes a photographer quality?
So there's got to be a few things. So one is they have to be. If I'm hiring a photographer for a product shoot,
Okay.
they have to have done some sort of product photography in the past.
For sure, yeah.
They have to understand that from a lighting perspective, how to set up the product.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be within my price range as well, because we are trying to be somewhat cutting edge.
Of course, yeah.
We're trying to provide a lot of gigs to photographers, so
Mm-hmm.
our value in paying them is more from frequency of doing jobs with us versus a one-time payment. But that does mean you have to find that niche photographer that will understand the value in maybe doing a few shoots for us at lesser price.
For sure.
Versus that one high-paying gig.
Yeah.
It's finding a photographer that you can pay just the right amount while getting the right quality back.
Yeah.
And then that can also understand my process, understand the brief.
For sure.
And also just personable too. Like,
Yeah. I think that's good. Like even like what you just said about like they have to understand it's the volume, but I think even the experience of working with like a company like that is sweet because not only are you working with like quality like a quality company, quality photographers, but you're also dealing with big brands and stuff, which is sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome experience. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's a good thing. Like I was at Sheridan speaking 2 weeks ago, and one of the things that people were asking were things like, what can I do to like sort of get experience and stuff? And like whenever I like speak or whatever, like I always talk about doing things like side projects and then things like internships, even if they're unpaid. A lot of people are against unpaid internships, but I did that when I started. And it's just quality experience. You don't have to do it forever. Good experience, you meet people, you learn stuff. That's all it is. And then, you know what I mean? Like if the company gets something out of it too, that's cool because you know, you're trading your time and your energy. So
I think a lot of people need to have a goal.
Yeah, I think that's true too.
They need to understand where they want to be.
Yeah.
And if that goal is to make, you know, 5 figures a year in a marketing position.
Yeah.
Like what are the steps to get there?
Yeah.
You also have to understand like your present position as well.
For sure.
Because, you know, if you're coming out of school or, you know, for example, in photography, if you just pick up a camera and you've been shooting for 6 months, you know, you might not be able to charge a whole lot of money.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Like you kind of need to start from the ground up, build experience, build trust with clients.
Yeah.
I'm fully agreeant that like you need to be paid for your work. You need to be paid
For sure. Yeah.
You need to be paid eventually in terms of like.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, if you're producing work, like really quality work.
Of course.
But like I do discount photo shoots all the time.
Yeah.
With friends, I help people out all the time with photos.
Yeah.
When I first started out, everything I did was basically pro bono.
Of course. Yeah.
If it got me into a concert, let's say, to shoot.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't mind, you know, I would still do that now.
It's true. Yeah. Like, I think it's great experience. Like, I've done blogging at conferences before. I never got paid for it. It's just I got into the conference when it's regular $1,000.
Yeah.
Get in there free. You get to meet people, and it's just a good experience.
I think it's great.
It's good.
I think, you know.
You got to start somewhere, I think. Yeah.
There comes a point where I don't think you can ever be too experienced. I think you can have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to executing and being successful on jobs.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be over experienced.
Of course.
But I definitely think that there does come a point where like you can charge like X amount.
Of course, yeah.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to build the portfolio, I think, especially for photography.
And like, you know, you love it, so you know, keep doing it, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I think.
That's a very cool thing. The next thing that I will ask you is, give me one sec. Are you learning anything right now? Any skill, anything photography related, you know, video related, anything?
Let me think.
Karate.
No, I'm learning. Okay, maybe it might not be like a tangible thing, but
that's all good.
I'm learning like patience, I guess.
Okay, cool.
So, learning mindfulness.
Sweet.
You know, trying to understand like, you know, how my thoughts are presented.
That's all good.
That way.
Nice.
So, whether that's just from like a general mental health thing.
Yeah.
How it helps you in photo shoots, how it helps you day-to-day life with relationships, friendships. So trying to get a better understanding of that for sure.
Sweet. Are you just like actively just trying to be more patient? Like
be more patient, be more mindful, seeing things from other people's perspectives, kind of like just taking a step back. And viewing rather than just like assuming, jumping to conclusions, that kind of stuff. I feel like that can really help in a workplace environment like a startup. But, you know, you need to make quick decisions, but you also need to make smart decisions. With photography, when you're working with clients and working with people, it plays into that attentiveness aspect that I talked about.
For sure,
You can't be passive.
Of course.
When you're working with someone, so I think like that's a big practice. Other than that, I mean, I have a goal to maybe grow vegetables this summer.
Nice. We'll see. Cool. That's always cool.
My parents have a little plot, like a
little garden
that I could probably use. So
sweet.
Doing that.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah, not too much else other than that.
No.
I'm looking for something.
So
if you have any ideas or anything. Interesting. Like
I always try to do random stuff. Like I'm always doing something new just to learn. So that's cool. Patience, gardening, that's cool. That's a cool thing.
I like being outdoors.
So
I mean, as the years gone on, like I've been more interested in like types of trees and types of plants.
That's really cool.
Like being able to identify things when you're out for a walk. I don't know, because like there's so much to look at, and like everything you look at has some sort of tangible quality. And like it's made of something.
Of course.
You know, it has a purpose or it was derived from something.
Of course.
So like you can do that in your own backyard.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just kinda jump
It's
in
true.
there.
It's very true.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm looking forward to the summer, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Even for, do you hike or anything?
I do, not as much as I would like.
You should come for a hike one time.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I go with my buddies all the time, and it's just like, it's a great time.
Yeah.
Like,
Where do you guys go?
we go to different places all the time. So like, have you ever been to like Devil's Punch Bowl or anything?
No.
That's like a popular one.
Okay.
It's on the escarpment,
Yeah.
and then like there's a waterfall that falls off of the escarpment,
Oh, yeah.
and then you can hike down to the bottom of the waterfall. It's very cool. And then we've done I like waterfall hikes, like where there's a destination.
You like to chase your water.
Yeah, literally. So like there's this one called Smoky Hollow Waterfall.
Okay.
It's super cool.
Is it in Hamilton?
It's before Hamilton. I don't know what.
Lancaster? Grimsby? Or not Grimsby. that's
I don't know what it is. It's a really. I don't know what the. It's not one of those.
Waterdown?
It's Waterdown. Yes, it's Waterdown. Yeah. It's a very specific place. It's a small town.
We can just name all the small.
Yeah, no, but it's literally what it is.
We'll get to
It's
it.
Waterdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice waterfall. It's small, but like the hike is really cool.
Yeah.
It partly goes through a residential area at one point of the hike, the one that we did. But it's not like a residential area, like it's a lot of houses. Like there's like 2 houses.
Okay.
It's just like people that just live there.
Rural
Yeah.
places,
They just live there.
Yeah.
But it's sweet. It's a really cool place because you hike along the stream and then you hike on top of like this escarpment.
Yeah.
So it's really aggressive. And it's good. It's good exercise. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
I've been down to Colorado. I've got family in Colorado.
Oh,
Did
sweet.
A bunch of hiking down there.
Nice.
Last time I went out to Utah.
Awesome.
Did some hiking in Moab.
Nice.
So they've got a couple big national parks.
That's awesome.
And that's something when you're like 5,000 feet above sea level.
Oh, yeah.
Just, Colorado Plateau.
It's a different feel.
And, you're in the desert.
Yeah.
You have to start these hikes at 5 in the morning.
It's
because
crazy.
hot by
Yeah.
9 a.m.
That's so cool.
But like, you just kind of walking along. Like,
Yeah.
There's not much to it. I think that's what I like about it. So
Yeah.
much, right? Because you don't have to think about it.
It's so simple, yeah. Like you don't need to go on your phone, just enjoy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're with friends and stuff, you can just talk. Like every time we go on hikes and stuff, like because I go with a couple of my buddies, like, and they're both super techie. Like one is an IT guy, and the other guy is he's a coder. Like he's worked for a smartwatch company before that was like bought by Fitbit. So like he's a very techie guy. But like I know like one of the cool conversations we had last time was just talking about drones because one of my buddy brings the drone whenever we go. And then my other buddy, like he built his own drone. And so we're talking about like the process of building a drone. So it's just like a cool thing. Like it's just, you start talking about random stuff and just like, oh shit, I didn't know you could like
'cause it takes
build a
away
drone
from
yourself.
All distractions.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents live by the Bruce Trail, so
Oh, sweet.
I'll dabble on the Bruce Trail every once in a while.
Oh, Bruce Trail's great.
Because I mean, you just kind of walk for half an hour and turn around and come back.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it just kind of gets you out and moving.
Of course.
So,
Yeah, and it's a fun exercise. You connect with nature, as they say.
yes, yeah.
It's very zen.
Fresh air,
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah, it's
many people around. So
it's
and all you really need is like shoes.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
That I mean, I'll hike in sandals if I really need to. But
Yeah. Awesome. So if a lot of you guys don't know, but I rock climb, and then my buddy over here, he rock climbs as well. When did you start rock climbing? Why did you start?
I started 2 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, like January 2017.
Sweet.
I started because I needed something to keep me active in the winter.
Yeah.
I don't like going to like a regular gym.
Yeah, it gets boring.
I do my cycling in the summer.
Yep.
So I'm a fair weather cyclist.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I won't go in the winter.
Do you do road cycling?
Road
Or-
cycling, yeah.
You do, right? Yeah.
And so rock climbing was just kind of like a good supplement in the winter.
Yep.
I got a couple friends now that come with me. My roommate
It's awesome.
comes with me
Yep.
too. So
Yeah.
no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like we go to the same gym and we see each other. It's awesome.
We're working on more or less the same sort of problems.
Yeah.
We tend to help each other.
Of
right?
course,
Probably
yeah.
You helping me more than I help you.
Not really, but I've been feeling really heavy lately. So
I think gravity's been a bit strong.
it has.
What they would say.
It has. At boulders,
Yeah.
it's real strong.
I haven't been over a week now. I've just been busy.
Yeah. Life gets busy
You know,
sometimes.
and now it's warming up, like
Yeah.
with cycling coming about.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna hit
probably
the
gonna
road.
bike more than I will be in the gym.
Nice.
I'll probably pop back in every once in a
That's
while
nice.
in summer. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to come out this summer as well.
Yeah.
You got to come rock climb outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
or rock climbing.
Rock climb and a ride too. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't climbed outside of a gym, so
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
You definitely have to come. I might be going tomorrow, which I don't even know yet. It depends on the weather. Like, I don't want to go if it's raining late today because that means the rocks are going to be wet tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And these people are aggressive. They like to climb no matter what. And I'm not that kind of person. If I have to sit on a wet rock to climb wet rocks, no, it's not going to happen. It's not about me.
If the weather's nice tomorrow, I'm going for a ride.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty excited about that. You road cycle too? Or?
So I mostly do trails now. That's like basically my thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of trail biking in Oakville.
Yeah.
And it's just sweet.
Everything along like 16th Mile Creek, I guess?
So we're near Upper Middle Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so like there's like trails all over. So like I can hop in the trail by like Joshua's Creek and get out like past Sheridan. Like it just stay in the trails the whole time. It's so sick.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it because I get bored sometimes if I'm just riding by myself, like on the road. So like this is sort of entertaining because you're just like moving.
Yeah.
You're just like it's and then you can go like single track if you wanted to. Like it's pretty enjoyable. It's fun.
I started with a lot of mountain biking.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do dirt jumps and
That's
do
sweet.
all that kind of stuff.
That's very cool.
And then I still like I've got a gravel bike, let's say.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I ride trails. I've got a bike to do
Nice.
that. But lately it's really just been road cycling.
Yeah.
I think what I like about it, it's like it's almost like the runner's high.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and like I'm a fair weather cyclist. I'm not going to go out when it's raining.
Yeah,
it
for
needs
sure.
to be decently warm and sunny.
Yeah.
To go out.
Which is all good though.
I like to ride when there's no cars on the road. It's just there's
Of
a
course.
freedom aspect of like
For sure.
riding in urban environments on a bike.
For sure.
Plus you get to go pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
What type of bike do you have?
I've got a Specialized.
Nice.
So it's like
Sick, man.
I just
Carbon fiber or?
carbon fiber fork. It's
Nice.
aluminum
Sweet.
rest of the frame.
Yeah.
I just put a new group set on it
Sweet.
last summer, so it's now 11 speeds.
Nice.
Which is some people say it makes a difference. I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I just got a bike fit last weekend too. So
Sweet, man.
I'm all set up now.
That's awesome.
My fit was horrible apparently before. So
That's
you
really
ever had a bike fit?
So I like a little bit because my dad, he used to like my dad and his side of the family is very into cycling.
Okay.
Like my dad when he was younger, when he was living in Trinidad, he was on Team Trinidad.
Wow.
Yeah. So like his family, like him and his brother, like they're beast.
Yeah.
So like that side of the family has always been into cycling.
Yeah.
So like even my grandpa, like he coached them and stuff. So it's just all cycling talk all the time in my house still.
Wow.
So like he'll make sure I have everything correct. But yeah, like we'll go on rides and stuff like that, and it's very cool. Like it's a fun time. It's a fun time, especially if you're with a group. It's cool.
Yeah.
It could be very painful in a group because people are really fast, especially like once you get like to the longer distances, it's just like, oh.
I do a lot of riding in Hyde Park.
Okay, nice.
Because I just live like Bloor West Village area.
Sweet.
So I do a lot of riding in Hyde Park. And there's a lot of cyclists that ride out of there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And people could just kind of like group up and ride together.
Yeah.
And some people will take turns leading on the front and like setting the pace.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's really tough. And like I usually just go there for my warm up or my cool down in my ride. So sometimes I'm like looking to ramp up a little bit.
For sure.
Some days I just don't want to ride too hard.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
just trying to take it easy.
Just take it easy.
How long do you go for?
Right now, like anywhere between 35 and 50 kilometers.
Nice.
50 kilometers is like I like to do at least 1 or 2 50K rides a week.
Nice, man.
The problem with riding that long of a distance is the time.
Yeah, it's time
It takes
consuming.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
50K,
Yeah.
And like every cyclist, like I stop for coffee on the way. Like, you take some photos of your bike.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta capture the moment.
You gotta get it right.
Yeah.
So, but it just takes a while.
Yeah.
And
It does.
it does. So I try to get out like early mornings. I try to be on the road by like 5 a.m. if I can.
Yeah.
So you're back by 7:38, and then
Yeah.
you can still work the full day.
Yeah.
So,
That's very cool. That's a very cool thing. I'm trying to get into cycling more this year, so we'll definitely go. Because one of the things that I'm trying to do this summer is I want to do a duathlon.
Okay.
So basically, it's running and biking.
Right.
And
Why no swimming?
I'm not a strong swimmer.
Okay.
I need to train for like a solid year
Okay.
at least to do the swimming thing. So I want to.
Have you done these sort of distance races before?
So back in the day when I was in high school, like elementary school, like I was always into running.
Yeah.
So I finally just got back into it.
Okay.
And I'm starting to get like my stride again, like over 6K, like I'm good like now.
Yeah.
To give you a breakdown of sort of what a duathlon is like, it's the duathlon sprint. So it's not like the triathlon, size duathlon. It's just like the duathlon sprint, which is like not it's not as long as
So what's the distance?
as the pro one. So for the duathlon, it's 2K run at the start.
Yeah.
This is just a typical breakdown.
Okay.
I'm talking like the one that I'm thinking about doing is the Subaru, I think it's Guelph Line.
Okay.
It's like they have different ones with different breakdowns depending on the course.
Yeah.
But this one is 2K run, and then you get to like the bike station. You put your bike stuff on, and then just go ride. It's a 30K ride,
Okay.
which isn't a long distance for riding at all.
No.
And then you get to the last station, and then I think it's a 7.5 kilometer run. So that's where the problem's going to start.
It's a run, a bike,
Yeah.
a run. Oh,
Yeah. Like the 2 kilometer one, no problem. That's like a warm up, right?
Yeah.
You get to the bike, shouldn't be a problem, 30K. Depending on the elevation,
Yeah.
that's going to be the only issue.
You know the course ahead of time?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to scout it out a little bit because they do have the course maps.
Mm-hmm.
But even if, I'm going to try to do the one that doesn't have it's just super uphill.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the Niagara one that's super aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think Niagara and Milton are uphill.
Yeah.
And they say, this is a hard course. I'm just like, okay, I can't do that for my first one. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing because I know by the time once I'm training and stuff like that, I'm already training, but once I'm fit and I feel good, even when it comes to race day, once I finish that bike ride and I get off the bike, my legs are going to be jello.
Yeah.
And then I have to run 7.5K.
You can train as much as you want, but I'm sure there's going to be some sort of adrenaline that's going to push you harder.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. I did one organized, it wasn't a race, it was just like a ride last year, but I did the Ride for Heart.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
On the DVP and the Gardner.
Sweet. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So I'm looking to do more of those.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That duathlon sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely look into it.
I'm not much of a runner, but yeah, I could.
You could honestly, if you're not much of a runner, it's not that hard to train for 7K.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You just have to pace it.
Okay.
And that's sort of getting back into running. My biggest problem I noticed is that I like to go real hot off the start.
Yeah.
And then I sort of start dropping down. And I finally was able to correct that to ramp up normally. And it's just okay, I'm finally getting back into it. But yeah, it should be dope. I don't know.
Cool.
It's a cool thing.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, honestly. What else should we talk about? I have a few things here. How do you differentiate yourself from other photographers? It's a very competitive field.
Yeah, let me think. I like to shoot. My big thing especially when I'm location scouting, I like to shoot in locations that aren't too recognizable or aren't too they can be perceived as being taken anywhere.
Okay.
So studio spaces are obviously pretty easy to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if I'm shooting downtown Toronto, or if I'm going to go up north of the city, Georgetown area, finding spaces that just work for the person I'm photographing.
Of course.
That aren't too recognizable, because I want to be able to tell a story from the images, and have that location just be an aspect of that versus
For sure.
The whole,
Interesting.
versus always having to have CN Tower or something.
Yeah, like the standard Toronto pictures.
Standard the Streets of Toronto Instagram account, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think, and from a creative standpoint, from an actual style, I don't know if I'm still trying to figure that out. I feel like I'm still working to create unique content.
Yeah.
I mean, as an artist, you can say anything you create is your own.
Yeah. But your voice,
stand out, right? You need to, try something new, and I think I do have a style. I always have these go-to shots. Just trying to make sure that I'm nailing those shots.
Yeah.
But I'm also I'm also just trying something new every time.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping that like when someone does work with me, they can get some shots that aren't the usual normal shots they're gonna get if they go somewhere else.
For sure. Yeah. Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, like, because I'm always into like personal branding, like whenever I ask people. So when it comes to personal branding, like what are you doing like on social media that sort of sets yourself apart? Is it like you're just publishing, you know, cool shoots that you do? Is that sort of like your, like just showcasing your work? Is that like?
I like to post those sets.
Yeah.
So I like to post, you know, 3 or 4 images.
Like the carousels. Yeah. That's sweet. Yeah.
I'm posting carousels. Single images are fine if it's depending on the image I'm posting, but mainly carousels.
That's awesome.
I like to take a lot of behind the scenes photos on my phone. And that's behind the scenes photos of like, you know, like the talent getting ready, them they're even photos of them looking at the images on my camera.
Yep.
Some of the space, like my equipment as well. And like before I post something, like I put together like an Instagram story behind the scenes stuff.
Sweet. Yeah.
Kind of like lead it up to like an actual carousel post.
Of course.
And then it's just fun to do.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Kind of like you can just see how the day went as well.
Yep. A lot of people like that raw like content, like just behind the scenes. Like I love it. Like I love watch it. Yeah.
My favorite thing with photography is behind the scenes content. Like
it's
I'll look that up for every photographer. Like,
yeah.
I even look at on Instagram just on photographers' profiles. I look at photos that they're tagged in.
Oh, to see.
You can get all the behind the
scenes,
that's set images.
That's sweet.
And like you can. I love seeing a photo of a photographer on set pointing their camera at what they're taking a picture of, and then seeing that picture afterwards.
That's cool.
And like even like some people do a really good job. Like people on YouTube will talk about the process about creating an image.
Yeah.
And I just find that very interesting.
That's very cool. Yeah. Like I like even because I've been to a few photo shoots and stuff, just from friends like with clothing brands and stuff. They have photo shoots. So like even seeing the photographers like laying on the ground, even like for like this stuff, like you know, because we're for like DigiHype for the digital marketing, like we have, you know, photo shoots and stuff for certain clients, and just seeing what the photographer does, like, oh, we need like a white background, like the people want to have a white background, and then they'll just make something like, they'll just like find a wall or like some space, and it's just like, oh, that's even better. It's very weird.
On set is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think a lot of photographers can get caught up with like, oh, you have to have like the newest, best gear. The best images, but a lot of it's how you use light. How you use your equipment with that light.
Of course.
You can get good images all the time.
So
I always love it when I'm looking at a video of someone behind the scenes. And they're not shooting with the best equipment. You know, they just have someone helping them hold a scrim. Or, you know, bouncing the light back into the frame. I think like that shows your wealth as a photographer.
It's cool,
You know, to understand those small changes versus having to buy like all this equipment to do one photo.
Of course.
Right? So.
Yeah, I like it because like even seeing somebody like say take a portrait shot and the background's white, but they don't do it with a backdrop. It's just like they do like a natural one. It's just like, this is so sick. This is even better than a backdrop. It's cool. I like it.
I get people that reach out to me for simple like headshots and simple portraits, and they're like, I just want something in front of a neutral background. And I was like, okay, like we can go to a studio. Or, you know, I'm sure if we walk around in this neighborhood, we'll find something. Like, I've shot there before. I know where this wall is. I can go shoot there.
That's so cool.
And then you get that shot that they wanted, but then you're able to get, you know, a bunch of other shots.
Yeah, super unique shots. So, I like that.
I like to tell people like, you're gonna hire me for headshots, like we'll do headshots and we'll do like portraitures. You'll get a mixture of both.
Which is sweet. And I think that's, you know, just in any creative industry, even if they're a client, they might not know what they want. They just have an idea like, oh, I need an image of my face. And it's just like, you don't, and you're the expert.
People's image too, like, you know, I'm sure you get this from digital marketing. There has to be a consistency across everyone's platform.
For sure.
So I think the only one that I feel can differ is your LinkedIn. I feel like your LinkedIn should always be a pretty clean cut photo. And then like, but you know, your Twitter avatar and your Instagram avatar should be the same. You know, mine's not. I will admit mine. You know, I use my Twitter for different things than my Instagram.
Of course,
But you know, if you're on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and you're
should be consistent.
In the spotlight, should be consistent.
I agree.
And, like depending on what photo you want to use for that, it's up to you, right?
I totally agree. It's LinkedIn is definitely the professional platform, and you should be, professional.
Yeah.
Who's your idol? We were talking about one of your idols recently before we got on air. But who are your idols for photography? Just content creation.
From a photography perspective, there's one guy that I used to follow. I started following his work about 10 years ago.
Okay.
His name is Colin Hughes.
Okay.
He was a photographer from Minneapolis.
Okay, cool.
Recently, he lived in New York City for a bit.
Sweet.
To be honest, I don't know where he's living right now.
Yeah.
I want to say he's living in Japan.
Yeah.
But he was the first person that I saw that, like, you can go take meaningful images when you're just hanging out with people.
Yeah.
And your images don't have to be, like, some of your best images is in between moments.
For sure.
And the way I'm still learning from him from a sense of, like, less is more.
Yeah.
Like, he'll post, if I feel like I need to post 10 photos to get a message across,
Yeah.
he posts 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And they're just, every one of his images is stronger than my set collectively.
That's wild.
So, like, I'm just trying to understand, like, how you pay attention to the light, the situation you're photographing, but then also how do you internalize that yourself, that, like, these 2 images are strong and that's all I need.
See, I love that.
And
I love that you know what it's so cool. Like when somebody's in the industry, they know what a strong image is.
Yeah.
I would have no idea. They would all look pretty similar to me. That's so cool.
He's someone that I've, like, studied. I feel like I've studied his work.
Yeah.
Work for a
That's
while.
dope.
He doesn't post as much as he used to, but he's done some really cool stuff.
That's awesome.
And then there's a guy right now in New York City, Joe Greer.
Okay, cool.
He's another big influence of mine.
For sure.
He's a big street photographer. He does a lot of film work.
Yep.
Does a lot of portraiture. But his travel stuff's pretty amazing. Like, he was recently in India on a trip.
That's very cool.
Trying to showcase places that probably don't get photographed as much as one would think.
Yeah.
But then also, like, he's just more than happy just to go out in an afternoon in New York City and take photos.
That's very cool.
And I think, like, going down to the core of taking photos, which is just, like, his big thing is, like, he likes using film and using old film cameras.
Interesting.
And, like, that costs a lot to do. So unless, like, people are paying you to do that, like, it might not be feasible. But he just does it because he loves it.
Yeah,
right?
it's a very unique thing.
And so, like, I'm picking up film cameras now and, trying to go out and shoot for myself just because I love shooting.
Yeah.
Regardless if I'm, getting paid for it or if it's even going to cost me something to shoot.
Yeah. Or even if you're going to use it for anything, really. That's very cool. It's really interesting to see how people, for certain technology, like the latest technology is out, and then they start going back and trying the old stuff.
Yeah, with photography,
it's really cool.
Process involved.
Yeah.
So with a digital camera, you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you can do a lot with those files. It also allows you to learn. I would like to think in one sense, it can allow you to learn really quickly because you get immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Right? But it could also put you in that feedback loop, and if it's negative, you can just keep spinning.
For sure.
Because you can take so many photos, the camera's doing a lot of the work for you.
Yeah.
Right? That, like, at the end of the day, like, are you really improving?
Yeah.
Right? Where film, you have a finite amount of images you can take on a roll.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're actually going ahead shooting, you got to think about everything a bit more. You want to make sure they're worth taking a picture of.
Yeah.
Right?
Going back to, like, the basic foundations of photography.
Yeah, and you got to pay attention to the light more. Sometimes you have to meter the light, like,
that's sweet.
Externally with a light meter.
That's very cool. What is a light meter?
So a light meter is like, any DSLR has them right now. So it basically tells you where to set your shutter speed to get a properly exposed image.
Interesting.
So it reads the light based on your ISO settings and your aperture settings to tell you how to expose the image properly.
That's wild.
And a lot of old cameras, so, like, if you're shooting medium format cameras, which are, like, slightly larger than 35 millimeter, some of those cameras don't have light meters on them. So you would carry around a light meter, which would basically hold up against your subject, and it would give you a reading saying,
really? Wow.
Shoot this at, like, f5.6 to properly expose it. You're going to need a shutter speed of 1/200th of a second.
Damn.
And then you would go back to your camera.
That's
change
wild.
The settings. Hopefully the light didn't change.
Yeah.
And then you take the picture. If the light did change, you'd have to go meter it again and change it.
That's crazy.
Where all of our all DSLRs had that built in, so it's so fast. That feedback is fast. Like, oh, I overexpose it. Okay, turn it down. You almost don't even have to use the light meter.
Yeah.
You know?
That's wild.
So,
that's crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
See,
really
this is
cool.
the behind the scenes I need.
It's
wild.
And because you're doing these, there's a couple extra steps you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
The process is slower.
Of course.
You know, I think a lot of people would agree that the process is slower, the work you're going to get is probably better.
Yeah.
You're putting more time in.
Yeah, you're more meticulous with everything.
You're also you're more understanding of the elements that are contributing to that photo.
For sure.
Because you really have to pay attention to the light and you have to pay attention to your camera.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's a very cool thing. Any other idols? I know you said before Casey Neistat, you like, really enjoy his content and stuff. Yeah.
He's an idol of mine from like just his story and how hard he's worked.
Yeah,
he
grinds.
He's also still pretty humble.
Yeah.
Say.
And he puts out content all the time.
Yeah,
the guy grinds. It's crazy.
He's very tenacious. He can just, if he wants something, he'll go get it done.
Yeah.
And he understands the value in hard work.
Of course.
That's something I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So he's really cool. I love athletes too.
Yeah.
Like Ayrton Senna, you know.
Yep.
The one. Ayrton Senna I was never around to
experience him.
To watch him. Like I was born, but I was so young.
Yeah.
But like he's pretty amazing. Have you seen his documentary?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a pretty emotional.
I don't know if I saw maybe the one. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah,
I don't think I saw the one on Netflix. I saw one on YouTube. I don't know which one it was. It might have just been somebody that just did it, but
one on Netflix. It's really good.
It's crazy.
He talks. I like people that talk about what they do in a sense that's more than just activity. So he talks about racing.
His quotes are amazing.
You know, he's more or less he's just racing cars.
Yeah.
He's just going fast for a living, right? But he talks about the way he talks about racing is more like, you know, intrinsic and like existential, something beyond himself. Yeah. And I think that's what made him so good. Yeah. Because he can recognize that like this is what it is to me. This is what it means to me.
Yeah.
And I think like you can do that with everything. Yeah. But you just have to get there, right? You just have to understand that. So.
Yeah. If some of you guys don't know what we're talking about right now, just look up his quotes on Google, because some of his quotes just they just showcase exactly what you're talking about, because they're like super, like some of them are like they seem out there in the sense that like they're super enlightened. It's crazy when you think about them. It's just like, because I see on Instagram sometimes like his quotes is just like that's actually really crazy that he thought that. I don't even know like because some of them are just super like detailed and enlightened.
Well, he says one that always sticks out to me. He's like, you know, if you don't go for that gap, you're not a race car driver. And that, I mean, you can kind of, you know, pull that however you want. But, like I like to think like, you know, if you're a photographer and you don't go for that goal,
you have to go for it.
You just got to go for it. Right? Like, I don't know. That's been somewhat meaningful to me.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
And I mean, there's other people, I guess. I'm trying to think though.
That's all good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What would you say is one of your, you know, books of inspiration, or if you don't have a book, we were talking about this earlier. One thing that we do on this podcast is always a book of the week, where somebody just suggests a book that people can read that's just changed their life, just had a positive impact. What is one book or one learning resource that you sort of experienced? It could be a podcast, it could be a TED Talk, it could be a video, an article, like doesn't even matter.
So I just thought of this now, but a book I read, this was a few years ago. Okay. It's just called Flow.
Okay.
It's a green covered book called Flow.
Yep.
And it's about, have you heard of it? Have you read it?
It's by a doctor, right? Like doctor with a really long name.
Yes.
It's
I read it within a few months while reading some other kind of books like The Power of Now.
For sure,
The Four Agreements, books like that.
Yeah.
But Flow, what it talks about is basic getting yourself into a flow of work, creativity, and how that momentum can shape your productivity and ultimately produce happiness for you.
Sweet, yeah.
So it was like, you know, understanding about like diving into work, being invested in your work, You don't need to be invested into it all the time, but you need to be making sure that like you have a goal that you're constantly working towards.
Yep.
And like I know everyone probably knows that like if you have a goal, you always have to be working towards.
Yeah,
right?
for
There's
sure.
steps to get there.
Yeah.
But what the book about flow was saying that like it's just little things every day, you know. And it was if it's like as a photographer working to book new shoots, you know, book creative shoots, learning more skills about photography, like just keeping yourself in that mindset, because it can help you identify as a photographer. It can help you identify as anything if you're constantly working towards something.
For sure.
It just makes your day-to-day work feel more meaningful.
That's
more
very
purposeful
cool.
for you.
Yeah.
And which can, you know, derive more happiness, right?
Yeah. I love that. That's a great recommendation. I haven't read the book myself. I have it at home.
Okay.
It's just been sitting there.
I read it so long ago that I'd probably read it again. So.
Yeah, because I first heard about that book in a creativity class at school at Sheridan, and basically we learned the principles in that book without reading it.
Yeah.
It was like specific stuff like how to get into flow when you're writing, like all that sort of creative flow, brainstorming, all that sort of stuff. It's a very cool thing. Another thing that we do on this podcast is App of the Week, which is an app recommendation, something that's just changed your life, been productivity, like it could be anything. Anything that you use, even on a daily basis. People have recommended clubbing apps before. Yeah. I don't club, but if you club, there's a clubbing app out there. But like, I always recommend tools that I use. Like, if it's a note-taking app, like Evernote, that's my stuff.
Okay.
Like even like if you want to get off, Facebook, the Newsfeed Eradicator, one of the best Chrome apps out there. It's so sweet. So
let me take a look.
Yeah, take a quick look.
So I know a big one from a photography standpoint has been VSCO, like VSCO.
Nice.
I've been using VSCO since it came out.
Really cool.
I've loved that software.
Yeah.
I use VSCO plugins on my Photoshop when I edit my own photos.
Really
as well,
cool.
so
Nice.
On my desktop computer, so not just on my phone.
Nice.
It allows you to be creative when you just take snapshots.
Yeah.
So I think like, is anyone getting into photography?
Yeah.
Like explore an app like VSCO, just to, I don't know, see what you can do with your photos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like just play around with it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose. An app that I just got recently, which I'm still exploring. It's very basic. It's called Magic Hour.
Okay.
But it's an app that you put in your position, like it pulls your coordinates based on the GPS.
Okay.
And it tells you when magic hour, or as a photographer, golden hour is going to be.
Really?
And it tells you that every single day, and it tells you in conjunction with the weather that day.
That's crazy.
And like, if you look at it right now, like, it's saying we have 4 hours and 50 minutes until, magic hour.
You gotta start prepping.
Yeah, so it tells you that, sunset's gonna begin at 7:45 tonight.
That's really cool.
And the duration's 72 minutes. As a photographer, I want it in that sweet spot right there.
Yeah,
if I'm planning a shoot with someone, I know I want golden hour light. If I know golden hour light's at 8:24 tonight, like that's when it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
I'd probably want to be arriving with my talent, my model at 8.
Yeah.
Shoot around for a bit. I probably am good for at least under 15 minutes after that.
That's very cool.
So I've always been like weary about booking shoots depending on light.
For sure.
And wondering if it's going to be good or not. And hopefully this app will help me.
That's very
Feel
cool.
more confident in the times that I tell people.
That's wild.
So
that's cool.
Obviously, you got to be able to look outside and see if it's sunny.
Yeah.
But that I think is going to help me out.
That's cool. Yeah. Like I know one of the photo shoots that I went to for my friend that has a clothing company, it was around, I guess, when the sun is setting. Is that magic hour? Is that when the sun's about to set?
Because there's a couple things with magic hour, not to go into too many details, but like the way the sun gets lower. So when you look at the sun, it's really hard to explain, but it's overhead. It's more straight light. So I guess the way that the atmosphere is like diffusing the light. It doesn't do it as much.
Okay.
I guess I don't know the angle that's coming in at.
That's crazy.
It's really interesting, and like when it gets lower down, I believe it's just I can't really explain it.
But it's cool though.
With the angle of the sun and how it is, how it's entering the atmosphere, how it's entering the humidity, that aspect.
That's very cool. That's a very cool thing.
And then also like when it gets around that horizon too, you're cutting out some of the light, so it just softens up.
That's
right, because you don't want harsh light, you want that soft light.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
And it depends on. It's really interesting. It depends on like where you are in the world too. So like here in Toronto, like we're not too far north, but we're also not that south.
Yeah.
Like but you could go to the Arctic. So you go to Iceland in June.
Yeah.
Right. They have a lot. Their window of sunlight is a lot longer.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, everything gets extrapolated. So their golden hour could be like 4 hours.
That's nuts. Wow.
You know? Where like ours are prime is probably like an hour and a half at most.
That's crazy.
You know, and like in the winter,
you gotta use it well.
Yeah, exactly. In the winter here, probably our golden hour is like half an hour, 45 minutes.
That's crazy, eh?
So
that's wild. Awesome. That's a very cool thing. I've never heard of that before, and I feel woke now. So that's sweet.
Go do more research on that.
Yeah.
You can explain it better than I do.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Let's do a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. What equipment do you use when you're shooting? So you said that you use Canon.
Yeah.
Do you use anything else when you're shooting?
I use a Canon 5D Mark III.
Okay.
So it's a full frame.
Cool.
DSLR.
Dope.
I've got a few different lenses. So I shoot with prime lenses. So fixed focal length lenses. So
Sweet.
No zooms.
Nice.
I have one zoom. I don't use it a lot, but I use like a 50mm, a 35. And I have a 17 to 40 millimeter zoom.
Okay, cool.
For like travel and landscape photography.
Sweet.
If I'm in a studio, I have lights that I will sometimes bring.
Okay. Like umbrella lights or like ring lights? Or
Softbox.
Okay, softbox,
so
nice.
Strobe shot through a softbox.
Sweet.
I've got a view dish as well, so I'll use those depending on what I'm shooting with like a boom arm or whatever. I've got a couple film cameras, so I have an old Fuji film camera.
Cool.
Takes medium format film. I've got a couple small 35mm cameras. So I have
very cool.
One that's like a point and shoot, like something that mom and dad would carry around in the 90s.
Yep.
And I also have one that like more of an SLR for our film.
For sure.
Takes my lenses.
Very cool.
It's Canon as well.
And then when you edit stuff, are you using like a MacBook, like Lightroom and stuff like that?
I've got an iMac from 2014.
Nice.
I use Photo Mechanic to do all my culling and my selects.
Okay.
Photo Mechanic also.
What is culling and selects?
So let's put it this way. So today I did a photo shoot this morning. I took about like 500 pictures.
Yeah.
Probably is only going to be like 20 or 30 that I'll share with the person I'm photographing.
Yeah.
So I need to cull that down. So it's like it's cutting that amount down to 25. And
just getting rid of the blurry ones and stuff.
Yeah, the blurry ones, the bad ones, making sure you're only selecting the good images. And so there's a software called Photo Mechanic, which a lot of photographers swear by.
Yeah.
I really love it because it provides you with high resolution renders of raw files very, very quickly.
That's awesome.
If you do selects in Lightroom, I know Lightroom CC has gotten better. But I have Lightroom 5, which is a little bit older.
Yeah.
And it doesn't render the raws that fast.
Yeah.
So you're looking at sometimes pixelated images, or if you want to render it faster, you're looking at small images.
Interesting.
Where I can look at basically a full screen image almost instantly on Photo Mechanic.
That's wild.
And you're just using hotkeys.
Wow.
So it's really fast, and then when it's there, then you can it's already built into a Finder on your Mac.
Okay.
So you're just kind of like dragging and dropping those files into folders.
Very cool.
So it's really easy to manage your files.
Okay.
And then from there into Lightroom, create a catalog, edit the photos in Lightroom, depending on the use case of the photos, that determines my output settings, like my exporting settings.
Yeah, for sure.
If I need to do touch-ups, I'll go into Photoshop, but usually I can do everything in Lightroom.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, just because this is just like, I've always wondered this. When you're culling, when you're going through the photos, how do you determine when a photo is like good or one that you just want to get rid of? Is it like just basically like...
Yeah, so I think a lot of times if I'm working with a human being and doing portraiture, I'm gonna probably take 10 or 15 photos of them doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times it's just is that smile peaked properly? Are their eyes open enough?
Interesting.
If it's featured a little bit more about the clothing, like is the clothing lying properly on the body? Is like a collar fixed?
Yeah.
It's understanding that kind of stuff. Other thing is you can take a few images and all of them might be at different apertures. So I experiment with that a lot. Like I took some images today at a wide aperture, of the same thing, and I took some as a smaller aperture of the same thing.
And then you determine which one you like?
Yeah, if I want one that's a little more of a blurry background, I pick the wider aperture one. If I want one that's more in focus, like everything's more in focus, I pick the other one. So it's like understanding that and like, yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, because I think that would be my hardest part if I were to like
really
get into photography, because like I cannot pick between that many options. And just like
I think I need to do a better job at doing that in camera. So making sure I'm not. I like to think I overshoot quite a bit. I like to provide myself options. But
that's better though. Like
better, you know, I don't mind. I've got the culling process down to the point where like it doesn't take me a whole lot of time. So like I can afford to take a lot. Some people, it does take them a lot more time, so they need to make sure they're doing that in camera.
For sure.
They're getting their shots when they need to. For me, it's just easier to look at stuff on a computer, to be honest.
Yeah, which is all good. Personal preference, I guess. Sweet. Okay, so what are we expecting from you in the future? Like, what are you doing in the future? Do you have any big goals, big plans?
I have 2 goals for this summer. My first goal is I'm going to try to put together a photo book.
Sweet.
So I'm going to shoot small towns in southern Ontario.
Very cool.
So photograph like the general stores, maybe like trails around them.
That's cool.
You know, interesting architecture, things I can see.
Sweet.
And then hopefully put together a photo book that's, the goal is to shoot like 8 of these.
Nice.
So I've already started to build the list out.
That's very
Once
cool.
the weather gets better and there's more leaves on trees, so I'm going to start shooting.
Nice, man.
So
That's
I'd like
dope.
to have that done for the fall. I want to spend the whole summer shooting.
Very cool.
Figure out what I'm going to put in it and then
That's cool.
do that. My other goal is I want to shoot a TFC game.
Okay.
I really want to shoot a TFC game.
Very cool.
I did some soccer photos this past week. I'm going to be doing some in another couple weeks.
Nice.
Hopefully building up the right contacts to try to get myself into, like get a photo pass for a TFC game.
Interesting.
That's my other goal.
Very cool. I think I know somebody that shoots at TFC games.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll find out. Yeah. We have somebody. Yeah, I'll find out for you.
Cool.
Yeah. If I can help, that'll be. Yeah. That's a very cool thing. I went to my first TFC game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Awesome experience.
Incredible. I've been going for the last few years. I love it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. The next thing I need to do is an Argos game. I've never experienced an Argos game.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit slower, but just to experience.
Toronto Wolfpack game.
Oh, what is that? Is that rugby?
That's a rugby.
Yeah, I need to check that out too.
There's actually a game today.
Really?
It was I think it started at 1 p.m. or maybe 1:30.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Wolfpack, they play in an English rugby league.
Oh, that's cool.
So like all the other teams, they play in England.
Really?
But they won the whole thing last year.
Wow.
And they got promoted to the next level. If they get promoted to even the next level, then they're like in the
Premier League. Oh, that's dope.
Rugby.
Where do they play?
They play at
BMO or
Manbell Field.
Where's that?
Liberty Village area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's an old field.
Damn.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool.
I'll have to check that out.
All the teams, they'll basically have a homestand where teams from England will come over and play.
Yeah.
And then they'll go over to England and probably play like, a month or 2 of games on the road.
Yeah.
Right?
So is it hype like soccer games?
It's they're starting to build a following.
That's sweet.
I wouldn't say it's TFC level.
Yeah.
But it's probably less than Argos.
Yeah.
But it's getting there. I would say it's similar to like the Mississauga Steelheads crowd.
Yeah. But it'll just take time. I know rugby's really popular. It's crazy.
And Canada's done well in rugby in the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
Rugby sevens in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Done pretty well. So
it's crazy. Yeah, I got to check that out. I need to check that out. I want to go through each Toronto sports team, even lacrosse. I haven't been to the Toronto Rock before. Yeah, I need to go.
Years ago.
Yeah, I need to go just to experience it. It's just cool. Sweet. So where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me at Sean Pollock on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook too.
Yep.
And then my email is just Sean Pollock. Sorry, my website seanpollock.ca.
Yep.
So yeah.
Sweet. That's it?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Sweet, man. Thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot about cameras and photography today, which I've never known.
Always happy to talk about it.
Yeah, awesome, man. Dope. We'll get you back on another time.
For sure.
Sweet, man. Sweet. Awesome. Okay. Dope.
Living the Canadian dream.